Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us to learn more about Charlotte Water's approved capital improvement plan. We have a panel of folks here who are going to talk about all the projects we are going to cover in this year. But first, we are joined by our Deputy Director, David Zur. David, do you want to say a few words before we get started?
Sure. Thank you, Bhavna. I guess I would just like to say to everybody, thank you for joining us today on this Friday as we reveal the what's in our upcoming capital improvement plans, both for the stormwater side and Charlotte Water side of the house. And this is important to us because it's important to our community, and we spend a lot of time developing and figuring out what our critical needs are for the upcoming 5-year period, and then rolling that into our actual anticipated projects for that first year. And that's what we're here to talk about. And these are the projects that are needed to make sure that our customers throughout the city of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County have the water, wastewater, and stormwater systems to keep our community in moving along and thriving. And we can't do that alone. It takes partnership. And that's why all of you are on the call today. Some of you all may help us in designing it. Some of you may help us in constructing it. And we know that it takes all of us to make this successful. So thank you for taking the opportunity to join us today, and I'll turn it back over to our staff to share more about it.
Thank you, David. Uh, Again, there are a few panel members who will be talking today. Again, I'm Bhavna Swampakla. I'm the Chief Engineer for Planning and Land Development. And I'm joined by Chuck Bliss, who is our Chief Engineer for Capital Projects Group, Kate Labdorf, who's the Chief Engineer for Stormwater Services, Matt Gustis and Logan Oliver, who are the division managers, and Adrian Lewis, who is our procurement person. Next slide. So we'll go briefly over different projects and opportunities. First, we'll go over the Charlotte Water projects, and then Stormwater would talk about stormwater services, and then get into acquisition and compliances, and then we'll have the open forum for questions. Next slide. I already gave you introduction on who we are, so can you go to the next slide? So our total Charlotte Water adopted budget for FY27 is $2.57 billion. And as David said, we have a lot of strategic goals and focus areas. What you can see is a majority of our budget went towards capacity for growth, but we also make sure we are focusing on reliability and resiliency of projects and maintaining our system. So quite a bit of that, our budget is towards that for rehab and replacement projects, which is almost like 32%. And we also have to follow compliance, so regulatory requirements, and try to support other utility operations. Next slide. Most of our CIP handouts are on our website. So what you can go to our charlottewater.org website, and if you go to the About Us link on there, you can find a recording of our presentation and all the maps and handouts, and which you can download it from our website. Next slide. So what you'll find in the handouts is a map that kind of shows all the projects that are approved in this budget cycle. You'll have, and the handout should give you the project names, the anticipated method of delivery for those projects, who is the point of contact like PM, and when the budget is going to start within that 5-year time frame. Having said that, I'll hand it over to Chuck Bliss to talk in detail about all the projects. Next slide.
Thank you, Bhavna. Yes, so to spend that 500 million roughly a year in capital projects, we have a number of different ways we go about doing that. Hard bid construction projects, alternative delivery RFQs, all alternate delivery subcontractor opportunities, and the service procurements for via RFQ or RFP, and then ultimately commodities bids, invitation to bids. So next slide. So there's a number of groups that put out capital projects. We have our rehab group in the field operations division that does projects. We have our design and construction group that bids out contracts, such as these two here that are mentioned. So these are for basically water and sewer pipeline projects of various sorts that occur throughout the year. And it's kind of an on-call type contract, both of them. Next slide. Also in our installation development services group, they manage new service installations, new water and sewer service installations, that is. So they have contracts both for large services and for small services, and they bid those throughout the year. Next slide. Our rehab and replacement group in field operations does a number of projects. They've proposed a 54-inch rehab project to come out in Q3 of this year, and then they've got a water main replacement contract coming up also this fall, and a sewer replacement rehab contract coming out later this year. And then later this year also a repair time and material contract. Next slide. So getting into actual specific capital projects that we'll be putting out for construction, these are the hard bid projects. So the Belmont Pump Station, we are teaming up with the city of Belmont to bring their sewer across the Catawba River and to our Paw Creek Pump Station. So there's 3 contracts that are going to be let to complete this project. One is the pump station over in Belmont. The next contract will be the Catawba River directional drill across the river, and then there'll be some open cut and a little more HDD on a 3rd contract to complete that project. Next slide. At our elevated storage tanks, we're looking at putting generators in, and this is the contract that'll do that. Electrical improvements would be necessary, obviously, with that, and that's looking to be scheduled to be bid the end of this year. Next slide. The Franklin Water Treatment Plant service water improvements is another smaller type project that is to be bid in 3rd quarter of 2027. Next slide. Franklin Water Treatment Residuals Improvement, a bigger project, about 40 million, should come out early this next year, 2027. Be a fair amount of electrical and site work subcontract opportunities. Next slide. Our next phase of solids improvements at the Mallard wastewater treatment plant also plan to come out this fall or winter, and estimated about 35 million electrical, mechanical, and site work opportunities in that project. Next slide. Briar Creek rehab, sewer rehab. We're going to be doing some pipe replacement and CIPP lining of some of the sewers in the Briar Creek Basin, and scheduled to come out spring of 2027, estimated at 10 million. Franklin electrical improvements. This is a large project coming up at the Franklin plant, basically to provide a new electrical grid and standby power, estimated at $100 million, and be out in early 27. And subcontract opportunities, electrical and mechanical and site work. Another electrical type project is building the infrastructure for EVs at 3 of our facilities here at 5100 Brookshire, and our ESF facility and our customer service center off of 85, scheduled to come out this winter. Next slide. So we've got, some of our existing facilities. We're looking to replace the roof at our ESF facility, Environmental Services facility off of Billy Graham Parkway. Also some replacement of storage material canopies at our Zone 1 and Zone 2 or Zone 3 facilities. Both of those projects coming out in, the fall of this year for the roof replacement, and spring of next year for the storage canopies. Next slide. So our ROSG group does a number of small projects that we don't have individually listed here. You could see they range from 10,000 to several millions of dollars. And they fall in these types of categories of work: electrical and HVAC, plumbing, masonry, roofing, and site improvements. So look for those when they're advertised. Here's some more specifics on some of those treatment plant projects coming up. McAlpine Creek conveyors, and there's a couple page list here of small to larger projects. Next slide. In the alternative delivery, today or just recently, we advertised the Lee Dukes water treatment plant progressive design build RFQ that came out July 1st or so. I believe the SOQs are to come back in August. It's about an $800 million project total, and it's going to be built over a couple of phases of improvements, going to 50 MGD and then to 75 million gallons a day. Our Northeast Water Transmission Main, that's NEWT, phase 1, and the Statesville Booster Pump Station. We want to put out an RFQ for a construction manager at risk contract to manage those 2 projects through construction. They're currently in design, and we'd like a CMAR contractor to orchestrate the construction of those 2 projects together. Our 978 North-South Water Transmission Main, 60 and 48-inch pipe coming from the Lee Dukes water treatment plant down to about Sunset and Statesville Road intersection. And we'd like to build that via progressive design build. Hope to have an RFQ out at the end of this year for that. And it's estimated about $130 million. Currently, we have in design the McAlpine thermal hydrolysis process project, progressive design build. PC Construction is our contractor, so they'll be putting out a number of scopes of work to bid on for subcontractor opportunities on that project. Some of the opportunities for smaller subs would be plumbing, painting, mechanical work. Look for those late this year. Next slide. We have a few service procurements of both RFP and RFQ type. First one is doing masonry repointing at some of our facilities, and an RFQ for water treatment program coordinator, and then another RFP for maintenance of filter valves, primarily at the Franklin Water Treatment Plant. That's replacing a large number of valves at the plant. And then another RFQ for our lead and copper rule improvements and implementation across the system. Next slide. Just an example of some of the commodity invitation to bids we have is upcoming later this year, water treatment polymers. So look for that. And I'll turn it over to Kate Labradorf with Charlotte Stormwater Services.
Thanks, Chuck. Happy Friday, everybody. For those of you who are not as familiar with stormwater, we are over 250 people strong, and our mission is to serve the city of Charlotte by improving surface waters and conveying rainwater safely through well-maintained storm drainage systems. Next. So we are focused on protecting surface water quality and then ensuring adequate drainage for the public drainage infrastructure system. Next. We have some quick stats just to share with you. We construct about 250 plus projects each year, and that includes, as of last year, we put in 40,000 linear feet of either installed new pipe or rehabbed existing pipe. We also have underway about 40,000 linear feet of stream repairs. Next slide. And then just looking big picture, our 5-year CIP, we're looking to spend about $420+ million. And so with that, I'll hand it over to Matt to go into more of the details. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Matt Gustus, Division Manager for Engineering and Design Division, and I'm going to get a little bit into some of the specifics of the capital program and the types of projects that we do. Next slide, please. So as Kate had indicated, you can kind of think of stormwater as really two buckets. You've got water quality and you've got water quantity. So as far as the water, on the water quality side of it, we do have surface water quality capital improvement projects to help address a myriad of issues that are occurring in the environment. But mainly these are a few photos of some of the challenges that we have with eroding and incised channels. We also have a lot of old farm ponds and areas that attenuate water that we need to make sure we're ensuring that they're stable. So we do have some dam and spillway projects, and then other opportunities to help enhance surface water quality through stormwater control measures are some of the things that we address. Next slide, please. And then through that, as you look at the types of projects, we do have stream restoration, and those have been done in two ways. We've done like low bid build projects. We've done some design build projects as well. We do have two current design build projects to address streams, make sure we're enhancing and restoring streams. That also includes some wetland enhancements as well. In addition to some of the ponds, there's also some stormwater control measures that can help really enhance surface water quality in different watersheds. So those are the types of projects that we do with to address that. Next slide. And then if you think about the water quantity side, if you're getting into infrastructure, that's easy to think about pipes, really essentially, anything that's buried in the ground, a lot of what we need to address. And there are two things that occur. Aging and failing infrastructure. You see a few photos here that are showing some old pipes, lot of metal pipe that tends to deteriorate, and so we definitely want to get ahead of that and address some failing infrastructure, try to avoid any of those failures occurring. And then flooding, we still have some concerns with flooding, so we want to make sure that we are addressing capacity as well with these infrastructure projects. Next slide. Go back one, please. So looking at from an infrastructure perspective, we either need to replace existing infrastructure, or we may need to install infrastructure that does not currently exist to help address flooding. So these are just some photos of some culverts, pipes, and things like that that we need to put in the ground to address that. Next slide. And then additionally, we also look at opportunities for rehabilitation, where we can do that in situ, and we can avoid any impacts, surface impacts to the community. And so we always look at opportunities where we can rehabilitate existing infrastructure through some technologies. Curtain in place pipe is one that we typically utilize, but there are some other technologies, and roughly close to about a third of what we are improving is rehabilitation. Next slide. So thinking about the projects, we really have two types of projects. We have minor projects and we have major projects. You can think about it by the scope of the type of work. So with minor projects, they're smaller, they're more targeted and focused on smaller areas. We do that we have in-house design staff that design those projects. We also utilize external engineering consultants to assist with that. They are constructed through unspecified contracts where we have line items that are bid up front, and then we assign projects to those contracts. But we also, some of those minor projects do get a little larger, and we may need to bid those, or sometimes we consolidate them into collective projects that go through a bid process. So these are typical phases of the projects, but most of the minor projects don't really have a formalized bid. The bid happens early, but we start about 200, 250 a year, and generally they're less than 500,000 in construction. Next slide, please. And then the major, those are the larger ones. They look more at comprehensive improvements. We do those through, I know I'd mentioned design build with surface water quality projects, and then we have the design bid build for the majority of the work that we do. And so these are going through individual bids. These are larger projects. So with the infrastructure and surface water quality, we are starting around 5 to 8 a year, and those could range anywhere from $500,000 upwards of 20 million. And those are the different phases that the projects do follow. Next slide. And I am going to pass this over to Logan Oliver, who's going to talk about some of the delivery methods for construction.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Logan Oliver. I'm the division manager for construction and utilities with stormwater. First, just want to go over some of these project delivery methods. But design build, we have 2 ongoing right now. Those are usually our surface water quality projects. Those are a little bit more sporadic when they may come out for design build, but they can last anywhere from 4 to 8 years. $5 to $10 million in a construction contract cost. We also do a lot of the traditional design bid build, major storm drainage and surface water quality projects. Can kind of last anywhere from 6 months to 3 years for that contract duration. 500,000 to 20 million. Typically, it may range. I see a lot of them in that $2 to $6 million range for those advertised contracts. We do like collective packages too. Those are essentially a combination of some smaller projects that are bid together. There may be 2 to 6 projects per contract, typically last contract duration about 12 months to get all of those projects completed. $1 to $3 million contract cost. And those project costs are a little bit smaller, but those individual projects may range from kind of 200,000 to 750,000 within those collective packages. We also do a lot of unspecified formal contracts. So those are the minor storm drainage projects Matt was talking about, but we may get 20 to 30 projects out of those contracts. They typically last about 2 years for the contract duration. anywhere from maybe $4 to $6 million for a contract cost. And those project costs can vary pretty widely, but 20,000 to 500,000. And then lastly, we will do the occasional unspecified informal contract. Those are some smaller projects, usually 10 to 15 projects per contract. The contract will last about a year. Up to $200,000 we'll typically see for a contract cost. And those are, again, kind of some smaller projects, but anywhere from $1,000 all the way up to $20,000 typically. Next slide. So with the design bid build projects, it's the lowest responsive bidder. They can address the flood mitigation, aging infrastructure. Those are the two major things. They can vary pretty significantly on the project, but the size of the projects, et cetera. But a lot of times it's majority of the reinforced concrete pipe, reinforced concrete box culverts, large non-standard drainage structures and end walls. We've been seeing a lot of active shoring on a lot of these projects. With the surface water quality projects, it's the stream work, structures, grading, stream improvement. And then there's a lot of special provisions related to these storm drainage improvement projects. So each project can vary a little bit. We have some of, the specific special provisions that are on the city website, but each project may have some of its own individual ones. And then with the collective projects, it's that same design, bid, build, except these are the projects that are grouped together and bid together into that one construction contract. Next slide. The unspecified contracts, the formal bidding, again, it's the lowest responsive bidder. These are bidding on typical unit items and quantities, and then the projects are assigned after the contract, after bid to these contracts, and that's where maybe you'll get 20 to 30 projects out of these line item contracts. But typically, there's certainly a lot of smaller, medium reinforced concrete pipe installation, your grading, the things associated with seeding and mulching, erosion control, pipe collars. We do have a reasonable amount of water and sewer line items that can be impacted with these storm drainage projects. We'll have the concrete sidewalk, curb and gutter. A lot of foundation protection typically we'll see on these projects if we're working in tight spaces between houses. And then there's certainly a lot of drainage structures, end walls, joint repair injections, backfilling bedding material, et cetera. Next slide. There's a lot of construction challenges, but these are just a few that we'll typically see on some of our projects to highlight. But as I mentioned before, sometimes we're working in some really tight spaces between houses, between structures. It can be pretty challenging and not having a lot of room with easements. So kind of operating in that. And then certainly the conveyance and the pump around operations can be challenging. And then lastly, private utilities. Being in Charlotte, we're always going to deal with private utilities and working around them. So we have our own team that will work through the utility relocations and advancement projects, but there's always utilities that we're still going to have to work around that aren't in direct conflict during projects. So that can be gas, power, communications, all of those utilities. Next slide. And a lot of subcontracting opportunities on our contracts. These are some of the major ones, not an exhaustive list here, but fencing, foundation protection, cured in place pipelining, pipe cleaning, joint injection, structure injection, asphalt paving, concrete flat work, masonry, so masonry drainage structures, a lot of hauling, traffic control flaggers, and then the clearing, grubbing, tree removal. Next slide. So Matt, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yep, thanks, Logan. A couple slides here. We're going to get a little bit into some of the details of the opportunities that are coming up from professional services and construction services as well. So if you go to the next slide. So we do have a map, and this is a screenshot of the map. We will be providing the map to everyone in attendance. And, you know, looking at the map, you can see, I know Kate had mentioned we have over 800 active projects. Everything you see in green is an active project. The small dots are minor projects. The polygons are the major projects. And then we are showing in blue our active surface water quality projects. We've also indicated in orange, we have our pending FY27 major projects, and then shown in yellow are our pending surface water quality projects. So we do have that available. And then we also have a handout that's going to include tables of contract opportunities and actually a list of the major projects that you may see moving forward. So I think I've got one more slide, then I'm going to hand it back to Logan about some of the professional services. So looking at professional services, I know I had indicated previously that with the major and the minor projects, we do have external design consultants that are assisting, and so we do contract with external firms as part of our team to progress these projects. So with the major projects, we are starting roughly five a year. The contract length, and these are project-specific contracts, the contract length is about 5 to 7 years, and we are actually moving forward and planning on doing a selection, annual selection. So this fall, we are intending on doing a selection to identify our FY28 projects, and so you should consider, you know, looking into that, because every year we are going to be going through that selection. And then for the minor projects, we also have consultants that assist with that, and those contracts usually are about 3 to 5 years. We are currently going through a selection right now for those contracts, but they're going to be on a cycle about every 2 to 3 years. So we are anticipating in FY29, we're actually going to go put that out for another selection for firms to assist with that. For the surface water quality projects, there are opportunities as well, and those are specific contracts to identify feasibility and kind of move along with design of the surface water quality projects if they're deemed feasible. Those length of those contracts are about 5 to 7 years, and there is an upcoming selection that's going to be occurring in this fiscal year. And then to support the minor projects, we also have some additional services. We have structural and we have utility locating, and usually we do select multiple firms to assist with those activities, and we do have upcoming opportunities in fiscal year 29 to select multiple firms for those services as well. And I'm going to hand this on to Logan to talk about construction.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Some of our professional and contract services as well. We have the on-call geotechnical and construction material testing services. We usually have multiple selected for that. RFQ can last between 3 to 5 years for that contract length. And I think our next estimated advertisement is FY28. For utility coordination services, this is extremely important for us, but I think last time we selected 3 consultants, but potentially multiple selected for each RFQ. And we are going to go through a selection process this fiscal year in FY27 for utility coordination services. We have our on-call construction admin, inspection, and management services helping us out with our construction contracts, but typically we'll have multiple consultants selected for that as well through an RFQ process. That's that 3 to 5 year time frame as well. And looking at FY29. We also have our site preparation for pre-construction utility relocations. A lot of that is helping to have the private utilities be able to relocate their infrastructure. So it could be tree removals, moving fence, things like that. Typically, there may be 1 or 2 contractors that are selected for that RFP, but that's also a 3 to 5 year contract length, and we'll be going through that process this fiscal year in FY27. Channel cleaning services, we did just select a contractor for that RFP. Typically, we have 1 selected for this, and looking at in 5 years, doing another one in FY31. And then also for water quality, we have the on-call SCM and vegetation management, potentially multiple selected for that RFQ, typically a 5-year length, and believe that's going to also happen this fiscal year again in FY27. So lots of opportunities over the next 5 years. Next slide. And then just want to break down the construction services a little bit more, but with the design, bid, build, those major projects, we typically try to advertise anywhere from 5 to 20 a year. I know we're trying to do more every year. We probably don't get quite to 20, but we're working on that and have an estimated contract value anywhere from that 500,000 to 20 million. I think I may have mentioned before, but I see a lot of them kind of in that $2 million to $6 million range with that 6 months to 3 year contract length. The collective packages, we'll try to advertise 3 to 5 of those a year, about 1 million to 3 million contract value, typically last about a year. And then we'd have a few different ways we'll go about the formal unspecified contracts, but we'll have kind of our major one that will do 5 to 7 of those a year. It's typically $4 to $6 million, and those will last 2 years. Then we also have kind of a smaller one that's more of a maintenance and repair unspecified contract that will do 2 to 3 advertised a year. And again, those are a little bit smaller, more maintenance type of projects. That contract value can range from maybe 750,000 to 2 million, and that lasts about 18 months. And then lastly, for the formal contracts, we typically try to do 1 or 2 a year for the grouting and lining. So joint repairs, joint injections, structure injections, and then a lot of focus on CIPP as well. That's usually $1 to $2 million contract value and will last about 18 months. And then we'll also typically maybe have 1 to 2 informal unspecified contracts, more of that maintenance and repair type of work as well, 150,000 to 200,000, and those will last about a year. Next slide. And then lastly for us, just some materials. If you go to the stormwater charlotte.org website, you can scroll down and click on the projects link. There's a lot of information throughout this website, but you can click on the interactive map for active stormwater services projects. And also there's a link under the capital investment plan where that arrow is that you can click on the Charlotte Stormwater Services map handout and the Charlotte Stormwater Services project list. So those are 2 good resources available for download. And then I will hand it over to Adrian.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adrian Lewis, and I'm the Deputy Acquisition and Compliance Manager for Charlotte Water. I'm joined here today by Catherine Osborne, who is our Procurement Manager for Construction and Design, and also Abby Dolan, who is our Manager for Acquisition and Compliance. So what I'll go over today is some of the procurement aspect to the presentation. We also have members of our business diversity team that are here, and also talk about how you can get notified about these great opportunities. Next slide. So you've had an opportunity to hear from Charlotte Water and Stormwater about all of the projects that are coming up. And the way that we publicly advertise these projects are through our procurement portal called Bonfire. This site is where the city as a whole, we post all of our contracting opportunities. And for a way for you to get notified about these projects and any other projects is there's a notify me option where you can subscribe. Anyone from your organization can subscribe to receive notification of when contracting opportunities are posted or advertised from Charlotte Water and Stormwater. So if you have not done so yet, I encourage you to scan this QR code and click on the notify me button and go ahead and put in your email address so you can be subscribed to receive any of the courtesy notices that we send out regarding projects that are advertised. If you can go to the next slide. So one of the ways that we forecast a lot of our opportunities is via our early bird site. Early bird is a way for us to let our vendor community know about upcoming opportunities. So if you have not done so, please look at this site. A lot of the opportunities that were mentioned during this presentation are there. If not, we will make sure that they are there, but that site has moved. And so we want to make sure that you're aware in the resources tab with this presentation, there is the link that we provided for the early bird new site. Please bookmark that site because it is really a great way for you to know what Charlotte Water and Stormwater, the opportunities that we have coming up. Next slide. And as I mentioned before, the procurement portal or bonfire, you'll hear those words used interchangeably. It's the way that we advertise all of our projects. You can sort by department. All of Stormwater's opportunities are listed under Charlotte Water, but they are by project. So please, if you have not registered to view the opportunities, anyone from your organization can register. It is free. So please register to actually see the opportunity regarding the actual solicitation documents, any other documents related to the project will all be there under the bonfire portal, but you have to be registered to actually see the documents. So I will turn it over to Cam Coley, who will answer, will take any questions that you have, and we will go from there. Thank you.
Hi, how's it going? We have a few questions. Most were related to where can I get the slides presentation. The meeting recording and the slides will be posted later this week or early next week on charlottewater.org. If you go there, click on About Us, and then go to the Capital Investment Plan tab, that will get you the existing handouts and map as well as the recording. And so we'll try to get that online as soon as possible. The other questions that we have, let's see here. One about, are there opportunities for consultants to engage for outreach with small local businesses as well regarding compliance? So I'll pass that one over to procurement, I guess.
I'm sorry, Kim, can you repeat the question? You mentioned something about plans.
Yes, the question was, are there opportunities for consultants to engage with you for outreach to small and local businesses as well regarding compliance, I believe?
Frederica, I know you and the business diversity team are on. Can you share any, if you are aware of any plans for any outreach opportunities that are coming up?
Yes. Okay. So the question is that, are there opportunities for consultants to engage with you? Yes, that hasn't changed. So what, if you're normally used to doing that, you'll continue to do so. As you may have heard, with HB 171 passing, we will now be focusing on SBEs and not the no longer MBEs or WBEs. But as far as outreach and contacting us on compliance, that has not changed.
The next question we have was just a general question about hauling, and if there were hauling in projects, does that show up in the RFQ under needs and quantities?
Hey, Cam, I guess I can take that one. It depends on the project, really. I mean, we may have a hauling line item. It may be embedded in other line items in the contract. So it varies, I guess. Along with any of the other subcontract opportunities, sometimes they'll be called out specifically and other times not.
Yeah, for stormwater services hauling specifically, we typically don't have individual line items for that. It's built into the pipe installation and different things throughout the projects. The hauling is typically needed on all our projects. So if there's an advertised construction contract, it'll typically include hauling.
Okay, another question for construction site work. Are there opportunities for subcontractors to provide utility locating and SUE services?
Yes, both in the construction contract and in the design. You know, we do a lot of SUE work during design, and you know, of course, the locating also. So yes, in the design, it'd typically be through the consultant that's been selected for the project. Or we do have some on-call locating contracts here at Charlotte Water for doing utility locates and soft digs. I'm not sure of the current duration of the contract. I think it's fairly new, so it's probably a 5-year contract. So it'll be a while before we issue a new one. Logan?
Yeah, I mean, Matt, you can jump in if you need to, but we do have we do a lot of SUEs, especially in the design phase for our projects, and we do have contracts for that. So there's definitely opportunities there. I'm not sure when the next one will be released. I forget exactly when it was, but yeah, lots of opportunities.
Yeah, I had in the table FY29, we had an opportunity for utility locating for design purposes.
Okay, that appears to be all the questions that we received so far. So I'll go on and just say thank you for attending. We'll have a recording of this presentation on our website. If you go to charlottewater.org, go to About Us, and then under that, you'll see a tab called Capital Investment Plan. That's where you'll see our current handout, our map, and the presentation slides will be posted on there, if not late this week, early next week. Thank you.